Hello students, my today's lecture is on properties of colloidal solutions, and these properties I am dividing in three parts. First I am talking of physical properties of the colloidal solution. In physical properties, the first thing I can say that they are heterogeneous. We have already told you repeatedly that they have dispersed phase and dispersion medium, and the system is heterogeneous. It has been proved by electron microscope. There are certain properties which we will be discussing. Tyndall effect, the scattering of the light by the colloidal particles is called Tyndall effect, which will be discussed by us. Then Brownian motion, we will discuss this also. It was observed by ultra microscope that these particles are moving in zigzag way. The properties which we are going to tell you also show that they are heterogeneous systems, and also we know that when we will talk about filtration, they cannot be filtered by ordinary filter papers, but they pass through, but they can be separated by, they show diffusion. We have seen parchment paper or semi-permeable membrane. The diffusion. Let us see some more information about this. So, colloidal particles are heterogeneous. Second thing, let us see about their stability. And we told you there are two types of colloids, lyophilic and lyophobic. And we have seen that these particles, when they are formed, they do not settle down. Therefore, they are stable. The size of the particles is of the order of 1 to 1000 nanometer, but they are in constant random motion, and we can say that they are stable unless the size of the particles becomes very large. Then slowly there may be some settlement under the force of the gravity. And when I said, what about their filterability? We know that they pass through ordinary filter paper, but do not pass through animal membrane, parchment paper, cellophane sheets. These have pore sizes. Much smaller. The pore sizes are much smaller than ordinary filter paper. We have already told you. So these particles are of the 1 to 1000 nanometer size colloidal particles. They cannot pass through. They are not able to pass through, and therefore cannot be. They do not pass through the semi-permeable membranes, which we have told. Further, let us see something more about it. More important points we are talking of. What about the visibility? They are not visible to our naked eye. Neither they are visible to the microscopes which you are using, or powerful microscopes, I will say. But what happens is they scatter light, which we will explain to you, the Tyndall effect. So when they scatter light, the path of the beam becomes visible, which we will explain. Further, let us see what are the colligative properties. Students, we have already discussed what are colligative properties. The properties which depend on the number of solute particles which are present in the solution. For true solutions, we determine colligative properties like lowering in vapor pressure, relative lowering in vapor pressure. Then we talked of elevation in boiling points. Then we talked of depression in freezing points. Then we talked of osmotic pressure. Here the size of the colloidal particles is larger. Size of colloidal particles is larger than true solution. Solute particles. We already know they are less than 1 nanometer. This is 1 to 1000 nanometer. So therefore we can say that the number of moles of colloidal particles per unit volume or per liter will be less than true solutions. Therefore, these colligative properties will be very small in magnitude, and you will find that relative lowering in vapor pressure, elevation in boiling point, depression in freezing point, these properties are almost same for the colloidal sols and the dispersion medium. There is not much change, very close to each other. So this is colligative properties are very small as compared to true solution, because the number of moles of the particles per liter will be much less because of the bigger size of the colloidal particles than true solutions. However, osmotic pressure measurements have been done. For few colloids. Their values are little higher, and these measurements have been done, and by this method we can calculate the molar masses of some of the colloids, or average, what we can find, average molecular masses. I am using the word average because the colloids are aggregate particles, so they don't have a fixed mass. It is only an average which we talk. Okay students, these are the physical properties. Let us talk about the second, which is the mechanical properties. Mechanical properties which I am talking of. This is a very important property which I am talking of, mechanical properties. And here I am talking of Brownian motion. This is very important for exam. Brownian motion. Actually, Brownian motion is in the name of a scientist, Robert Brown. British botanist, 1827. He observed the zigzag motion. Of pollen grains suspended in water. So he used a ultra microscope. He has used a microscope and he observed the zigzag motion. That is why the name has been given Brownian motion. And colloidal particles exhibit random zigzag motion. These particles, what is happening to these particles? If I have a dispersion medium, and these particles, I am saying colloidal particles are moving in very zigzag manner inside the solutions. So they are moving randomly in a zigzag motion, these colloidal particles are not at rest, but they are moving. What is the cause of the Brownian movement? Why there is a Brownian movement? Because they are being bombarded by the solvent, by the dispersion medium molecules. Dispersion medium molecules, by the forces are what we are saying unbalanced. So unbalanced forces are there. They are being hit by the molecules of the dispersion medium from different directions, from different sides. The result is the bombardment of the particles of dispersion medium on the colloidal particles. What will be the result of this? This is unbalanced. This bombardment I am saying is unbalanced. The size of colloidal particle is bigger than the size of the particles of dispersion medium. So this is going to be a slow process. The motion is slow because the size of the colloidal particle, the mass of the colloidal particles is larger than the mass of the dispersion medium. Unbalanced bombardment is going on from different sides. So these particles are never at rest. They are moving. And what is the result of this? The important result of this is the Brownian movement is important because of it, that is due to Brownian motion. The particles do not settle down. So what I say that it has a steering effect. The bombardment of unbalanced particles from different sides has a steering effect. These particles do not settle down. Therefore, this is the cause, one of the cause of stability of colloidal solutions. Otherwise, the particles will settle down. So they are all the time in motion due to the unbalanced bombardment from different molecules of the dispersion medium. This has a steering effect. The result of this is these particles do not settle down. Therefore, these colloids become stable. That is why they are stable. Otherwise, what will happen? They will, due to the force of gravity, they will come down. So, Brownian motion also helped in finding the Avogadro number. Avogadro's number. N. So Avogadro's number N could be determined by using the Brownian motion or Brownian movement of the colloidal particles. Now I am coming to third, optical properties. And here I am talking of very important effect, Tyndall effect. Very important. What happens is when an intense beam of light is passed through a colloidal solution, the path becomes visible. In a dark place. So I may say in a dark place or a dark room. So what is the result of this? Why it is due? What is happening? That if I take a true solution, this is my true solution, and if I pass intense beam of light, nothing is visible. This is a solution. This is a solution. No path visible. But if I take colloidal solution, there are particles. Colloidal solution, what will happen? If I pass intense beam of light, the path becomes visible. This path becomes visible due to scattering of light by the colloidal particles. What I am saying, the colloidal particles scatter the light. The size of the colloidal particle is such that bigger than the particles of the true solution. So nothing is observed when we pass a beam of light from a true solution. The path does not become visible, but here the path becomes visible, and that is what we call as a Tyndall effect, which is based on the scattering of light by the colloidal particles. There is a condition for scattering of light, or to observe the Tyndall effect. What is the condition for Tyndall effect, students? This is very important. The wavelength of the light, wavelength of light used should be almost equal in size, equal to the size or diameter of colloidal particles. Diameter of the colloidal particles. One second, the refractive indices of dispersed phase, dispersion medium and dispersed phase should be large. There should be a large difference, and dispersion medium and dispersed phase should differ. Large difference. There should be a large difference. Then we will observe the scattering of light by the colloidal particles. This is very important phenomena, Tyndall effect. You have seen in cinema halls when the light is coming from the projectors on the screen. The path of the light becomes visible due to the dust particles which are present in air. They are colloidal sized particles. They scatter the light. That is a Tyndall effect. And if you are sitting in a dark room, the sunlight passes through a slit. The path becomes visible. That is Tyndall effect, or scattering of the light, which we observe, students. So here what we are finding, students, that scattering of light, Tyndall effect is very important. Conditions of the Tyndall effect, and the result of this Tyndall effect is also there, that they were able to design an ultra microscope. The significance of Tyndall effect was the discovery of ultra microscope, and when they observed the scattered light at right angles, when they observed scattered light with ultra microscope at right angles, so what they found, they observed what they call as the illuminated path beam, which they observed was like a illuminated cone. So what they observed was a something like a cone. So the path becomes visible, and what they call as a something like a cone, they observed that the scattered beam of light. The importance is that ultra microscope has been designed because of this, and important further, it helped in determination of the average molecular mass of the particles. Average molecular mass of colloidal particles, because each particle was scattering light, and they could observe by the ultra microscope as one star of each scattered light. So they could count the number of the particles which were scattering light when Tyndall effect is observed, when beam of intense light is passed through ultra microscope, and by counting the number of particles of the colloidal particles, they could also calculate the average mass of the colloidal particles, but it gives no information. The ultra microscopes gives no information about the size and shape of colloidal particles. So when we observed at right angles, what we observe is what I said is Tyndall cone. So Tyndall cone is observed, the scattered light is observed at right angles by the ultra microscope. It looks like a Tyndall cone. Therefore, students, here I have discussed the physical properties, mechanical properties and optical properties of the colloidal solution. In my next lecture, I will talk more the charge on the colloidal particles or electrical properties of the colloidal particles.